I welcome y'all to the PPL live show. Shit's liver than a California sideshow. On the board, all the teams talking mad shit, especially when the squad gets their ass kicked. PPL's like a bad bitch with an ass lift. Everybody wants to get some action. Making trades while we're drafting. One of a kind, no other they can match it. PPL ever coming to you live. 12 years strong and we're never gonna die. Real talk so you know we'll never lie. Betting down 50 trying to win the whole pie. Let's get this shit cracking. Welcome to the best sports show on the planet. Damn it. Tune in to the PPL live show. Kick your feet up like the blunt, get your eyes low. PPL gets you ready for the week. Co-host Matt Page shows hate when he speaks. Gino and the Jake gonna speak what he see. PPL motherfucker, I'm a OG. I'm ready for the shit to get started. Time to find out who's good and who's garbage. It's time to find out who the next champ is. Trying to win the whole pot, time to go cash in. World War III, time to load up your team. Hit the battlefield, leaving blood on the scene. You can speak what you think, I don't care what you mean. Focused on me, steady building my team. Now I'm sicker than COVID-19. EJ hops on the throne, but I'm coming for a seat. So's everyone else in the league. I just don't see a challenger stronger than me. With that said, dog, I'm ready for war now. Like I'm strapped in the hood, kicking doors down. PPL is my game now. Used to be fun, but the shit ain't a game now. Bringing the pain now. Opposition's laid down. Done with the flow, dog. Nothing left to say now.
And that was our man Charlie White giving us the 2020 intro to PPL Live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Gino the Gent here. Week 5 is here in the PPL. The quarter point is over. The first 4 weeks are in the books. Teams starting to show who they are in the PPL. We are back. Ulysses as hate. Let's jump right in. Scoreboard from last week, starting with the Argonauts defeating Only for the Boss 109-107. The Skulls defeat the Baby Gas team 111-104. The Mean Machine leaves no doubt behind the big performance from Odell 152 to Squad Underestimated's game 128. Appease the Gods led by Joe Mixon's 40 points puts up 141 in the Prestige Mashup of the Week, defeating the Gaff Attacks 122. And Patty's Twins wins at the end 192-86. Man, the Leave No Doubt player of the week. Who's your Leave No Doubt player of the week, man?
For me, it was Joe Mixon appeasing the gods this week.
Yes, Joe Mixon definitely appeased the gods in the Prestige Matchup of the Week. He was the Leave No Doubt player for you, Ulysses, scoring 40 points with 150 rushing yards, 2 TDs, 30 receiving yards, and also a touchdown catch to lead Appease the Gods in their win over the Gaff Attack in the Prestige Matchup of the Week. Me, I'm going to stay in the state of Ohio, but I'm going to the Alpha Conference for the Mean Machine. Odell Beckham Jr., ODB, showing us shades of the man that was with the Giants. Having a huge day for the machine, capping it with that 50-yard touchdown run to seal the win for his team. The man had 37.9 points with 2 touchdowns, receiving on 81 yards receiving on 5 catches, leading the Mean Machine to a Leave No Doubt performance. All right, man, let's jump right into week 5. Let's get it. We're going to start off in the Omega Conference as Patty's Twins takes on the Gaff Attack. All right, man, so Patty's Twins, they won a close one. The Gaff got beat in a primetime matchup pretty much. Russell Wilson still was the man, but obviously they didn't get enough scoring from that RB2 spot. Wide receiver 2, they missed Juju Smith-Schuster, and some of their intangibles weren't as glaringly great as they had been over the first couple of weeks. And then obviously on the Twins side, Aaron Rodgers with a magical show on Monday Night Football to bring them back. What do you think of this old-time feud of the Omega Conference, Patty's Twins, Gaff Attack?
I think the Gaff Attack gets right this week.
Okay.
And I think it comes down to one factor for me. At this point, the Twins, they've been just ravaged by injuries like a lot of teams in the PPL.
Okay.
But, losing Austin Eckler last week, and then, frankly, without Aaron Rodgers in the lineup on a bye, they're just not as dynamic.
Okay.
I don't think that Ben Roethlisberger, he's not the same guy. He doesn't use his legs as much. And I think both of the coaches could lose. You're looking at the other side. You got a guy contending for MVP in Russell Wilson. I just look at the Gaff right now, and his team's more explosive. He hasn't been as decimated by injuries, and I think he's in good scoring shape. I think last week too, you just saw with the intangibles, and the team has been finding ways to score.
Right.
As opposed to the Twins, they've been struggling, but I think she's got some favorable matchups with Antonio Gibson. I think Jonathan Taylor could go all day against Cleveland. So the matchups are there. Again, you just take if I'll be honest, if Aaron Rodgers was playing, I'd be calling the Twins.
Okay.
But he's not. And so I've got to say, Gaff Attack get this one relatively comfortably. I'm going to say it gets it 128 to 107. All
right. I have to agree with you. I think the Gaff does get this one, goes to 4-1 in the Omega Conference, and really sets himself up for a deep run this season. When I look at the matchup, like you said, Aaron Rodgers he's the intangible that the Twins always has going into a matchup. A matchup they don't have him, you tend to think that they can't play well or win. I think Ben Roethlisberger can replace that production, but the reason why I'm struggling with the Twins is because they did lose Austin Eckler. They've got to lean more on David Johnson. I do not like that Houston offense. I think it's going to be a big time problem for the Twins. I do like Robert Woods against Washington, and I like Keenan Allen in New Orleans on Monday night. So I do like the receiving spot. Gibson, I'm still not sold on that Washington offense. They're doing musical chairs at QB already. We'll see what goes on there. Now on the Gav side, Russell Wilson's the league MVP right now, man. I mean, every week he's going out there and he's finding better ways to play the game. I mean, he's playing on a whole nother level right now. The problem with the Gaff for me, and I'm going to continue to say it, is I don't trust the depth at receiver and running back running back at all, because I don't like Todd Gurley or Myles Gaskins long term. I don't like Myles Gaskin at all against San Francisco. And CeeDee Lamb, he's good, but he's in an offense where anybody can get the ball. It's really it's tough to call it, but I do still think that the Gaff does get this matchup. I'm going to go the Gaff Attack wins 124 to the Twins 112. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into the Alpha Conference as the Argonauts take on the Baby Gas team. All right, man, both of these teams having their struggles for entirely different reasons. The Argonauts can't seem to keep healthy guys in the lineup, and the Baby Gas team can't seem to get guys in their lineup at all. Both the Argonauts were on the benefit of a close win. The Baby Gas team lost the game they should have easily won against the Skulls. What do you think about this matchup? Both teams probably treading water right now. Baby Gas team, Argonauts.
Yeah, I think the Argonauts get the shot the arm they need with a layup this week.
Okay.
I look at it. I mean, the Baby Gas team's going to go and take Bridgewater. I mean, they picked him up at least. I don't know if Carolina's got shootout potential, especially just that offense just hasn't been there this season. And I just look at what this Argonaut team isn't as flashy as previous teams have been, and I just think that he's got enough this week to win. I mean, all these guys can be studs. Zeke needs to hold on to the damn football.
Right.
He's been coughing it up damn near like every game real early on, but I don't know if he needs that to get hype, but I just don't believe it. It's necessary. Their head coaches go head-to-head this week, and I mean, the Saints, I think, are on a get-right week. I just, like I said, which team are we going to see the BGT? Like, his guys have just not been getting it done this week. And, I mean, this guy damn near won last week with 7 people. So, I mean, he's got the caliber. It's just, I mean, I don't know if he's just not interested in making those kind of calls or if he's kind of written off the season. But, I think with a couple of moves, he could be in much better shape. But with the lineup as it exists, I don't see him getting past the Argonauts. I think that they go for 133 to the Baby Gas team's 94.
Okay. I have to agree with you, but for kind of a slightly different reason. I actually do think that Will Fuller, Evan Ingram, DJ Moore, T.Y. Hilton, I mean, look across the board. These guys have pretty good matchups. I mean, the only guy that probably is going to suffer from their matchup is probably Melvin Gordon, and he was a big part of their scoring effort last week. He had about 25 points, so that's going to hurt him there. I think that Teddy Bridgewater, but they've given up by far the most points to quarterbacks. Teddy Bridgewater is actually a great play this week, and with that connection to DJ Moore, they could give the Argonauts fits. Now on the Argonauts side, George Kittle was a monster. 33 points. I mean, he was everything that they needed and more. He carried the day on Sunday Night Football. You're right about Zeke. I mean, I don't know what it is early on in games. I mean, their whole team, the Cowboys team as a whole, they get in holes and it makes Zeke less effective. I mean, because if it's not him fumbling, it's Prescott fumbling or throwing a pick. They're getting in a hole and they gotta throw their way back into the game. So that's hurting Zeke right now. Josh Jacobs is playing Kansas City. They just got to hope they stay in that game. If not, he may not even be a good play. Drew Brees, if they get Michael Thomas back, I like that play on Monday Night Football. The Saints like to score on Monday night, and I think that if Michael Thomas is in the lineup, that'll be a game where they'll try to let Drew throw the ball a little more. The Justin Jefferson pickup, he was actually a guy the Argo drafted, dropped, and picked back up. We'll see how that goes. Looking at it on both sides, I mean, the Argonauts should win the matchup. We've been saying that all season, and they've been barely pulling these games out. They've been getting pretty lucky. But I'm going to stick with the conventional wisdom. They have pulled out the games we said they should pull out, so I'm going to say they win this matchup against the Baby Gas team, 118 to 99. Moving on to our next matchup, we go into our interconference matchup of the week as Appease the Gods takes on Squad Underestimated. All right, man, so I was hard on Squad Underestimated's trade for Chris Carson. I was of the belief that Chris Carson was injured, wasn't going to be able to play. You know, later in the week, it was actually determined that he did play. He played well. Squad Underestimated, however, still fell to the Mean Machine. And then Appease the Gods, obviously looking like one of the top teams in the Omega Conference with that big win over the Gaff Attack. You said that Appease the Gods was be the team that ended the last undefeated streak in the league. They did it. What do you think of this matchup? It's kind of not quite of a rivalry matchup, but these two teams, you know, there's a little friendly banter. What do you think of Appease the Gods and Squad Underestimated?
I think Appease the Gods gets a comeuppance this week. I think Squad has shown some resilience.
Okay.
I mean, through injuries, you know, the record may not reflect it, but they've been competitive. And they've been putting up points where I think a lot of guys would have laid down. But we were just talking about the Baby Gas team and what they're not doing with a team that's in a much better shape. Squad's out there trying to do stuff.
Right.
I mean, we saw what Chris Carson did. I mean, and yeah, you may, you know, not agree with the trade, but I think, you know, Chris Carson is having a top 5 back season.
Right.
And that's the kind of effort that Squad needs this year to be competitive.
Right.
I think that's why he gets this matchup. I mean, Kyler Murray is a guy that a lot of people were sleeping on.
Mm-hmm.
Squad went out and got him, and he's been delivering. If there's one knock I have on Squad in this matchup, it's his reliance on San Francisco 49ers. And it might be what gets him, because I'm not buying this offense with the current quarterback configuration. I don't know. I think it hurts Jerick McKinnon's value, and I don't think it helps Deebo Samuel. And, you know, with the turnover potential at the quarterback position, is it going to put the 49ers D in a hole? So I think that there's one X factor there. The other side, I think the injury bug has relatively spared Appease the Gods, but, you know, this week Mike Evans is questionable. Fant, who's been a real asset at the tight end position, where throughout the league there's been a lot of parity. I think that those kind of things potentially hurt him. I can tell you right now, he's going no coach. He's done so the last 2 weeks and been able to win.
Right.
I think he sees what this Green Bay Packer team is capable of doing, and having it live this early, I mean, barring major injuries there, he's looking at the Packers to be a set and forgetting coach.
Okay.
And so I think that, you know, he's got some matchups that, again, if Evans isn't healthy, on tomorrow night, Thursday night, then we may not see some of the best assets here. But this team I think has major scoring potential. I think each week now we've seen them, but with Fant out of the lineup, I'm not sure what's going on in Chicago. He's got two of those guys.
Right.
I just think that squad's better positioned this week. I think the Cardinals will win their coaching matchup. And again, barring a 49ers collapse against Miami, I think he gets this one and gets back on track. I'm going to say he gets it 127 to appease the gods 122.
All right, I'm going to have to go the other way. My issue with Chris Carson wasn't that he wasn't a good player. My issue with the Chris Carson trade at the time was that we didn't know if he was going to be available. That was my number one knock on the trade. Obviously, it's working out for Squad Underestimated. When they get Christian McCaffrey back, they'll have 2 potential top 5 backs. So good for them on that. But looking at this matchup right here, I got to appease the gods for a few reasons. Jerick McKinnon's in the running back slot for RB1 right now, not Christian McCaffrey. And he's not going to be the starting running back, I don't think, this week. Raheem Mostert went back to practice. That pushes him back down the pecking order. Mostert is the better running back, and he'll get the majority of the carries there. Deebo Samuel, like you said, the 49ers, the way they're playing their offense, you don't know who's going to get the football. Deebo might get a reverse, but he's not. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the consistency that you probably would want at a receiver position like that. So I'm looking at a lot of the matchups. Devery Henderson for the Rams, he's splitting snaps. So it's not a lot of guys that have got clear-cut roles on Squad Underestimated besides Murray, Carson, and Adam Thielen and Mark Andrews. Now, on Appease the God side, there's no question what these guys' roles are. Joe Mixon showed what his role was last week. Cincinnati finally trusted and gave him bell cow status, and he rewarded them with a huge game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we know what that is. He's going to get fed runs and short passes all game. Allen Robinson is no doubt the top dog in Chicago. Devontae, just going down the line, all of these guys are integral parts of their team. They're going to get the ball. This is about volume. I got to appease the gods winning this matchup. 131 to Squad Underestimated 117. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into the Omega Conference as the United Players the Destroyers take on the Skulls. All right, man. The United Players the Destroyers. Tom went off, man. He went off for 37 points. But mistakes in other places. Steelers defense left in the lineup, I believe. They made a few tactical errors that cost them. On the Skull side, Deshaun Watson, man, he's really been struggling so far. But they got probably the most fortunate news of the week with injuries. With Nick Chubb going down, that gives Kareem Hunt top 10 status. Mike Davis has been a top 10 back since Christian McCaffrey's injury. And obviously, we talked about his twin receiver, Seahawks. What do you think of this one, man? UP Skulls.
Yeah, I think the Skulls got lucky last week, and I think their luck continues this week.
Okay.
They're facing two teams that just are not managing their rosters well. Tom Brady did go off, but again, I'm going to say that Josh Allen is the guy that I would be starting again this week.
Okay.
And just looking at his lineup, Chris Godwin is not playing. I think that making that change, getting Boston Scott out of there, getting Derrick Henry back in the lineup, I think he could make some changes. I don't think he's going to, though.
Oh, okay.
I think the lineup we see right now is probably what we're going to see.
Has apathy set in?
I think for some teams it has.
Okay.
I think that some teams just, and I don't understand really why for the UP. He just really hasn't made any changes to the lineup that I think he should. I don't know why other teams aren't really looking at coming at him for at least one of those quarterbacks. That being said, I think I agree with a lot of the reasons why the Skulls get this done. A win's a win. So
right.
Whether you're lucky or not, he's getting them. And I just, he's got a quality squad right here. I criticized the dual wide receiver picks in the first and second round. He was right. Those guys are producing, barring injury. They look like they're catching balls from the MVP, and the way that they've been playing, I think that could go off.
Like it's like having Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison at their height right now, man.
Exactly. I mean, and that's just, it's super rare. I mean, they're playing a tough Minnesota team, and I think if anything bites him in the ass, I think he's getting cute with this Cowboys coach.
Okay.
They're garbage, and they could very easily lose that Giants game. The Chiefs are going to win against Las Vegas. So, I mean, he might be best off just not even playing a coach and just thinking that he has the star power in his lineup right now to win. So, I would probably make that change, but, I think even with the coach loss, he's in position to win. I'm going to say with the coach loss, he wins this 117 to the United Players 101.
All right. I'm going to have to agree with you. I think the Skulls win this matchup. I think this is the get-right week for Deshaun against Jacksonville at home. Bill O'Brien's off the team now. I think that's gonna change things around there. I think guys are gonna play a little more free. I think that's gonna really help Deshaun going forward. He's gonna take more ownership of the team. Kareem Hunt, like I said, the Nick Chubb situation, man. Kareem Hunt is a guy that could do the things that Nick Chubb can do, and I think that he's gonna be able to do that now with more carries and more opportunities. And I think that's gonna start against the Colts this week. I just like the Skulls all around. I like that they're active. I like that they're always trying to make moves. I think that even the Le'Veon Bell coming back, I mean, that's another option. And they look solid even in a week without their best player, and that's Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is the number 2 back in the PPL right now. He's clearly a matchup-proof player. And, I mean, he was a guy that they got, and they're holding on dearly tight, too, and he's rewarding them. On the United player side, man, Cooper Kupp still hasn't seen the lineup. I don't understand why. Derrick Henry should be in the lineup. They haven't even set these things up, and like I said, apathy is set in. And I'm a little apathetic to this matchup. I think that the Skulls are gonna go on ahead and smash on the United players, the Destroyers, 137 to 99. And moving on to the prestige matchup of the week, we go into the Alpha Conference for what we hope will be a high-scoring affair, as only for the Boss, making their debut in the prestige matchup of the week, take on the Mean Machine. All right, man, so only for the Boss. They did lose last week, but they've earned their place in the prestige matchup of the week. They're the scariest team to play in the PPL. Even on Monday night, that game should have been theirs. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce is a triumvirate of chief greatness. And then obviously you got Calvin Ridley. Despite having a donut last week, is still the number 1 receiver in the PPL, man. Then on the other side, we got the Mean Machine, who's scoring at a torrid pace. Thanks to my man Alvin Kamara. And I love the Amari Cooper play, obviously, every week because Dallas is going to be in a shootout. And then Mr. Leave No Doubt himself, Odell Beckham Jr. was awesome, man. What do you think of this matchup? Only for the Boss, Mean Machine. I'm also liking the Justin Herbert play.
I mean, I'm so disappointed with Only for the Boss. Again, they shouldn't have let that one get away last week.
Okay.
That was their game. They had Monday night. They had that game. And, it's one of the things within the Alpha Conference, I was all in on this team last week. I picked them to beat the Argos, and it feels like when the big game's on, they're not getting it done.
Okay.
I think this time they set it straight. I think that they're playing a Mean Machine team that. My one knock on Mean Machine is quarterback. He does not have a good quarterback. He needs to get a set it and forget it kind of quarterback. It's too important of a position to be doing plug and play every week. I think that the teams that really set themselves apart, they lock that position in. Right. They ain't worried about a backup. They'll pick one up when their guy's on a bye. They'll drop him the very next week. Aaron Rodgers, key example of that.
Right.
And it's not Justin Herbert. And you look at the other side, Patrick Mahomes, I think that they probably have a pretty exciting game against Las Vegas. That's a divisional game. I think it could get real high scoring. I think Calvin Ridley gets right. James Conner is likely, or Raheem Mostert's going to be back up in this lineup. I think that Mean Machine loses a close one here. I think that he's got some stuff studs, man. You mentioned it, Alvin Kamara. He's got a really good receiving core. I think the Ravens win. The Seahawks, that's going to be a tough matchup.
Okay.
But on whole, I'm just going to say it really comes down to that connection in Kansas City. They get right, and I think that they leave no doubt this week.
Okay.
I think that they answer, and I think they go off. I'm going to say 165 to the Mean Machine's 148.
Man, that's your highest projection yet, Ulysses. 165, man. I mean, you accounting for some stuff right there. I'm going the other way, man. I'm going to disagree with you, man. I love the Justin Herbert play, man. Did you watch this guy last week? I mean, his ball placement on the deep ball is beautiful, bro. And he's a quarterback that's like, he's throwing that to Jared Guyton. Who's Jared Guyton when you got Keenan Allen on the team and Mike Williams? He's getting the third receiver involved and making 80-yard touchdown passes with this guy. I like the Justin Herbert play. I'm excited about Monday Night Football for the Mean Machine with those three players potentially setting him up for the win. And then Michael Thomas for 100 in the lineup makes it even better. Amari Cooper, Odell Beckham Jr. And then he even has Hunter Henry on Monday night. So Monday night is going to be big for the Machine. Now that could also work the other way against him. If Monday night turns into a dud, he could be in for a performance where he can't catch, and only for the boss team that could run away with this matchup. But the boss has got to get Connor and Mozart back in the lineup. They're not in the lineup right now. Those are two things that have to happen for me to take only for the boss seriously in this matchup yet. Adrian Peterson was a good plug and play, as was Ronald Jones, but he needs to get his lead backs back in there. He's been missing those guys. I think he'd be 3-1 right now, maybe even 4-0 if everything went right, because remember, James Conner kind of let him down also. That being said, I got Mean Machine, man. I think that it comes down to Monday night. Mean Machine gets just enough, 141 to 138. Alrighty, PPLers, thanks for another week of PPL Live. May the odds be ever in your favor. Ulysses S. Haight and Geno the Gent signing off.